Alright, I'm Lewis from Bitter Blade Company. I'm 15 years old and I'm a knife maker. So I thought I'd give YouTube a try and see how I like it. And, I'll see what happens. So, I guess this is going to be an intro to my channel to explain some explaining things, not that anyone cares. But, so I thought I'd get into the story of how I started making things and making knives. So, I've been making knives since 2015. And there's a lot of things that led up to me finally making knives and like how I got into it. So I believe it all started when I was in 7th grade. I'm in 10th grade now. I saw a video, Wrangler Star video, of how he restored an axe. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. So I started restoring axes when I was really young. I forgot how old I was, but whatever 7th grade was. So I thought that was the coolest thing. So I think I have one up here, actually. Let me grab it for you. This was the, here it is. This was the first axe that I ever restored. I got it at a garage sale. It's like a 1.5 pound boy's axe, and it has been used. It's been brought many places on many camping trips to chop wood, as you can see. And it was my first somewhat knife build, and I was so proud of it after I got finished with it. As you can see, there's a handle, the blade, the head. It's about 1.5 pound, maybe 2 pound head. It's a boy's axe, so it's not a full size. Like this one over here. This is a 3 pound True Temper. So, this was my first axe I restored. And then I restored some others. I don't know where they are, but yeah. And then I went to my town's local flea market kind of thing, and I saw this guy there, and he was making these knives. His name is Chris Sepieri. He has a YouTube channel called Make Everything. I suggest you give him a subscribe because he makes amazing content. I hang out with him a lot. I hang out at his shop a lot, and he's a really great guy. And I remember seeing those knives, and he made bottle openers too, and I was just so amazed on like what he did. And I was just so young, and I didn't know how to get started. So I kind of just went home and didn't think anything of it. After I went home, a couple months later, I remember seeing a video of Walter Sorrells, and he had a 2-part series about how he made a hidden tang knife out of a file. And I remember seeing that and being like, wow, that's great. I'd love to make knives. I'd like to try it. So what I did was I went home and I found some random mild steel and I made this. Let me go get it for you. So after seeing that video, I went home and just with old hand drill and a file, multiple files, and some sandpaper, I made this, my first ever knife. When I finished this knife, it was the strangest feeling because I was so proud of what I made. And it took forever. It honestly took me like maybe a month because I have school, so and it was hard because it just took so much work and determination and dedication to file this. This is thick steel. I don't know if you can see that, but that's about 1/4 inch. And it just took a lot of time and a lot of, effort to make this. And after I got finished, I was so proud. It was the strangest feeling. I've never been like that proud like in a while. And it's funny because I look back on this of what I can make now, and I laugh because it just looked so weird. Like I look back now with the eyes of, wow, that's terrible. And then it was like the most amazing thing. Like as you can see, it's not perfect. The pins are misaligned. There's a lot of blade scratches and whatnot, and not the sharpest. Like pallet wood handle. Almost looks like a butter knife. But it was just so weird. And once I got done with this, I just couldn't stop. Then I made some more knives and more knives and more knives until I got to a point where I felt, I could post it on Instagram. I started making a lot of knives out of found steels and found materials, a lot of file knives. And then when I first bought steel, I felt a freedom that I didn't have before. I had steel and I had more tools. I had a Harbor Freight 1x30 sander, and I was making more knives. And then I just accumulated more tools. And I started making more knives. And then, after a little while, I got into resin. The knives, I was contacted, I was looking for I always was interested like making materials for making knives, like resin scales and Damascus. So I thought, maybe I should get some material for making resin scales. So I bought all my equipment used on Instagram through Grossing Custom Knives, and he gave me a great deal on a pressure pot, vacuum, and everything that I needed for making scales. So I started to, put together some scales. These were more recent ones that I did. I just drilled holes in a piece of resin, poured some resin. Here's some orange. And this is actually stabilized bread. I was experimenting with that. Bread scales. I'll use these one day. And then the stabilizing, this is cedar that I stabilized red. Let me just spray this for you. There we go. This is cedar that I stabilized red, and I think it came out really nice. So yeah, and I started making scales because I thought that'd be a great way to, sell them, have more money for making knives. And they didn't sell that well, so, I kind of went into it with the wrong mindset. I had the mindset of just making a quick buck, and I know now that that's not the way to think about things. You make things because you enjoy making them, not to just make money. So I had all this extra resin laying around, so I'm like, what do I do with it? And I was selling at this point resin to a few guys, but the main guy was Atomic EDC. He makes great rings on Instagram. I suggest you follow him. And he made these like insane rings, and I thought to myself, I don't really have a lathe, I just have some stuff, so I thought I'd make a ring. So I made a ring, and I just kept on going with that, and some of my more recent ones, I made this clear ring out of some extra resin. I made this one. This material is from Deranged Donkey. Some nice colors and tones in that. And then this is also from Chaotic, and I think this glows. So I just started making rings out of scrap that I had. So that's what I did. I made rings out of scrap, and I sold those. So yeah, knives just became a platform to grow into many different things. Knives to resin to rings and like a bunch of stuff. And it's really just grown from there. One of my more recent builds is this restoration of a cleaver. You see, Brazilian hardwood handle. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Some really nice wood on this handle that I made. I got this wood on the side of the road, actually. I think it was decking. So yeah, I think this came out really nice, really sharp. It's on my Instagram now. Bitter Blade Co. One word, all lowercase, no, what do you call those things? Punctuation. No underscores. So yeah, I'll tell you about some more upcoming projects that I have. I have this broad axe that I want to restore. I just realized it was a broad axe. I thought that curve was from bad forging. But if you see there, it's not straight. It's not straight, it's curved. So that's for like hewing a log. That's coming up soon. I have a bunch of blades that I have to finish. I have to hand sand these kitchen knives. A bunch of kitchen knives and different blades that I'm messing around with. I have this piece of Damascus from Backyard Blades I don't want to make something out of. So yeah, that's basically what's going on right now. I'm gonna go edit and upload this video. See if you guys enjoy. If you want to keep up with me on Instagram, Bitter Blade Co. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, favorite, whatever. Do the doobly-doo. If you guys enjoy, please subscribe and follow along for the ride. If you're watching this, thanks for watching. And I'll see you later.